take the BRICS. Brazil actually sided with Israel a lot during the last 8 months. If you read the statements, Lula has not been good. I mean, he's made some statements which were good. He did say it was a genocide, yes. But they've also taken stances which have been very bad during the last, since October 7th.
Yeah.
So that's Brazil. Russia, well, Russia is willing to defy the United States when it comes to Russian interests. When it comes to Palestinian interests, very unlikely. So that brings us Britain, Russia, India.
Yeah.
Forget India. India is a mirror image of Israel on the South Asian subcontinent.
Kashmir.
So, yeah. So India's out.
China.
China. China's not bad. But you see, I read every statement by China. They're always reasonable. They're always fair. The Chinese, they are on international affairs. I'm not talking about their own country. In international affairs, they're always principled and reasonable. The thing with China is very confident of its economic power for obvious reasons. So it wants to avoid conflict, military conflict, at all costs, because it knows that in the normal day-to-day routines of life, where it's simply one economic engine versus the other economic engine, they know they'll win.
Yeah.
They're confident. So
yeah,
they avoid war at all cost,
yeah,
at all price, because they believe in the course of the peaceful daily unfolding of economic life, they will prevail, which is true.
yeah,
Which is obviously true. So they will stand against any military conflict to the extent it's possible to resist it. The United States obviously wants a war with China,
yeah.
but China will make every effort to resist the provocations by the US.
Yeah, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that the country who started with a communist ideology and a country that started with a liberal ideology, China is more moderate in this world rather than the Americans. Isn't it funny, right? Yeah, I would just like to add a few points here. On Brazil, they have recently changed their position. Initially, in October 2023, they were probably more towards Israel than Palestine. Their narrative was that it was a heinous crime by Hamas and they should be held accountable, and then they were also calling for ceasefire. So that it was that narrative at that time. Now, if you see the recent resolution in July 2024, now they're calling for ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire. Now they are calling for, they have left out the Hamas element. They are calling for humanitarian aid in Gaza. They are calling for provisional measures of International Court of Justice against Israel on the case of genocide. So their narrative has changed. On Russia, Professor said yes, that Russia looks for their own interest, but the thing is that Middle East is an important region. So when Middle East is more towards supporting Russia, then it does become their interest. And if it does become their interest, then Russia can also become a bigger power if they gather support from Middle East. And Russia has had their influence in Middle East in the past as well. And Russia also has the past history of the long Cold War with America. So their temperament with America is probably the best. So Russians know how to use these countries like Middle East and all these other countries, and they know about their past history with America as well. About India, yes, indeed, India, they have bad relations with Pakistan, and I think they should improve their relationship with Pakistan. So because of the land dispute of Kashmir, they sometimes take a soft corner towards Israel, but I would like to say that if you see the history of India, they were always against the colonial mindset of the British, and in the recent day it is America now, right? So India is also moving more towards BRICS, right? The look east policy. So that should be kept in mind as well. And China, Professor rightly said, economically they are defeating America. However, in terms of militarily, they are probably not. Their temperament is not as developed as the Russians have developed, because the Russians have had a past history, and also the Middle East, the past history of military experience. Their military experience is against America is far more than China. So these are some of the points that I wanted to mention. And with that, Assalamu alaikum.